For more on this, we're joined by Isaac Stone-Fish. He's a CBSN contributor and a senior fellow at the Asia Society Center on U.S.-China relations. So what are we to read into this, Isaac? Are negotiations with North Korea dead?
They're not dead, but they're certainly paused for now. We saw this in May before the historic summit between Trump and Kim Jong-un, where Trump seemingly very last minute decided to cancel the summit. A few days later, he put it back on. Things are certainly different now. It seems more unlikely that Pompeo will actually have his trip reinstated, but I think this is a bump in negotiations as opposed to the death of the negotiations.
So a significant bump. I mean, he's sort of poking the bear here with China by saying you guys aren't doing enough. We've known for years now, many people have felt that China should have done more. The Obama administration felt this way, but no one's publicly sort of poked their finger at them and said you haven't done enough. I mean, is this a smart strategy?
I think China and the United States have very different needs and desires when it comes to North Korea. China wants North Korea to act in some ways as a buffer between democratic South Korea. It likes the existence of North Korea because it serves its needs, and it doesn't mind too much the fact that North Korea has nuclear weapons. And when it calls for denuclearization of Korea, it's about the Korean Peninsula, North and South Korea, which is what the North Koreans feel. The United States, on the other hand, sees North Korea as a pressing threat and is trying to push against it in different ways. But I think, part of the issue here is that we again risk having North Korea be the main issue in the U.S.-China relationship, and that relationship is so much more important than just North Korea.
So do you think it's problematic? Do you see China and North Korea getting even closer together, and is that a problem for the U.S.?
I think they are getting closer together. I don't think that's necessarily a problem. I think the problem is them getting closer together and then the U.S. and China growing farther apart.
The U.S. and China growing further apart. Talk to me a little bit more about that relationship. Obviously, this trade war between the two. Is there an end in sight to this?
There's definitely not an end in sight to this. We haven't seen either side be willing to make any significant concessions, and it seems like both sides, for mostly domestic political reasons, don't want to be seen as weak, don't want to be seen as backing down, and so this could be the trade war of 2018, 2019, and this could go on for a long time.
Heading back to North Korea for a moment before you leave, Pompeo has said patient diplomacy is sort of the route we're taking. They still got sanctions on. Ultimately, is there some sort of endgame with North Korea here?
I think the endgame that the U.S. would like to see, which is the verifiable denuclearization of North Korea, is wholly implausible. I think the realistic endgame is we learn to live with a less threatening nuclear North Korea. I don't think Trump has made that leap in his own mind, and I think we're going to see this sort of on-again, off-again negotiations and tensions for quite some time.
All right, Isaac Stone-Fish, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.